Now I'm in. So you'll see, okay, my stream is in. And to share. Okay, I'm in there. Got it. Da, 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 da. Okay, I'm going to go back into my Facebook here and drop it in. They shut off my audio. And then I lost the whole stream. So it should be there now, guys. Drop it in there. Yeah. Bingo. Okay. I'm going to drop this into this one here. Drop it into there. There. No, I'll also put it on Facebook. So you guys want to hit the Shadow Chasing on Facebook too in the line. You should be able to get in because this is what happens. It happens all the time. Anytime I come in to do a show and when they see my name, because they've already taken out, I've already had about 20 shows removed by YouTube. They took them out. They took all anything that went back as far as 19 up to 2019, anything to do with what I'm talking about, they removed them all. They just said to me, they can't have this, no, can't hex that, no, and they wiped them away. I have nothing left in there, and the only thing I'm able to share, and they never even liked what I did last week, but they didn't remove it. And I didn't even talk about anything to do with, you know what, is all even psychic readings. They don't believe in God because these, I'm not kidding you guys, they don't. They're goofballs. Okay. So I already know, I myself already know they're not going to be here that long anyway. So they're bye-bye. Let's see here. Try that. So go back to the chat room and see if you guys get back in. I drop a capitalize hello in there. You can drop into the YouTube chat room and see what happens. You should be able to get in now. Yeah, just go to the Facebook, click on that. You should be able to drop in the chat room. I mean, I like to hear you. I like to see you guys talk about or chat back and forth into the chat room. I don't intentionally remove people, but they won't let me find the audio because when I find it, it's turned off. They said I have to erase everything and start from scratch, but they also put a timer on it. So if you don't erase it, you can't keep it. If you keep it, then they won't let me come back on again. Like they got some new rules. So I thought, well, okay, fine. If nobody's hearing me on the show, then I'll just have to erase it. Yeah. So come on back into the chat room, guys, into YouTube as well as on Facebook. Yes, we're both on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So don't worry, we're still here. Okay. Also, what I want to talk about tonight too, and this actually is the my good friend Jordan Maxwell. Okay, he wrote the book, The Matrix of Power. This is my good friend that passed away. Secrets of the World Control, and I mean a few times they were even trying to remove my readings on the show. They said they did not agree with this. And so they removed one of my shows that I talked about this. And I told them, I said, look, you guys, you can voice your opinion all you want, but this has nothing to do with your beliefs. if you're saying that what hurts people, this does not. This is telling the truth. This is absolute truth. They don't want this book talked about. They don't want even anything mentioned because it stings their reputation. Okay, because the people that work for them or people that own it are connected to this. Okay, and or were connected to it. Yeah, you got sound back, Diane. Thank you. Yeah, you guys are back in the chat room. Good. So, I want to share with you guys, if you haven't, uh, jumped back to some of my older shows, have a look for the one that when there's actually a write up that says "Power," the Matrix of Power, on my Shadow Chasing show. But if you can find that editorial story on YouTube, watch it, and you can learn for what I shared, because I went through like 1/3 of the book, narrating it, and there's some really great information that does benefit others that you guys may not realize. That'll help a lot. Let's see here. Yeah, 2 pairs here. Let's see if that'll work. Okay. Let's see here. I want to go to. Okay. In here, we'll talk about the zodiac. Okay. Jordan Maxwell mentions about the zodiac. You guys know about the zodiac, right? Okay. The zodiac right here. Right. Okay. So the reason why it is the greatest story ever told is because if you do a little homework, you're going to find out it's the oldest story ever told. As a matter of fact, it is the only story ever told. It is called astrotheology, the study and the worship of the heavens. If you go out in the night time and look into the sky, and what you're looking at the sky, right? Now, what is another name for the sky? Another word for sky is heaven. Well, that is where the sun is at. At 12 noon, the sun is high in heaven. So, therefore, they said that God's Son, or S-O-N, right? S-U-N-S-O-N, was in heaven. Now, of course, they never believed that when they died, they would go to heaven with God's Son, S-U-N. At least they knew that much. At 12 noon, the sun was at most high. Consequently, they said that the God's Son, S-O-N, was 12 when he was in God's temple. Now, God's temple was, of course, the heavens. And at a 12 noon, he is in the temple. That is why he was 12 when he was in the temple. Everlasting life came from God's sun, and the sun was round, and it was a circle in the sky. So the ancients saw life as a round circle, the circle of life, which was pictured or represented by the sun. Now, the way they kept time then and was on a round calendar, today we call them sundials. That's where they came from, the round calendars. As a matter of fact, the Aztecs and the Mayans and the ancient Mexicans kept the round sun calendars. Now, the sun calendars that were in Egypt were round and were divided into 12 parts. But 12 months. Each one of the months was called a helper to the sun, because it helped the sun do this job on Earth in that particular month. Later on, this particular months were called houses because in the Babylonian scheme of things, they began to develop what was called astrology. So each one of the months became a house. Therefore, the sun, God's son, the light of the world, who is our salvation, had 12 here. Here.
Hey, there. Hey,
We're live, Johnny. Are you there?
you're live?
We're live.
Are you on the air?
I'm on the air live. Yes.
Okay, I'll call you back. You shouldn't call you right now on the air what I was going to discuss with you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
good.
going to talk about really good stuff. Like we're talking about Jordan Maxwell right now.
Okay, let's talk about Jordan Maxwell. He's an incredible man that spent 60 years in Hollywood, an amazing man who spread a wealth of knowledge in the world. He came to Northern Hollywood from Pensacola, Florida, and I know that he met you, and you know what? There's so many beautiful, amazing messages you put out in the world. How have you been, my friend?
I have been really good. Really good. So, yeah, we were actually, I was reading through the book of his book, and the Matrix of Power, and I was discussing about the sun, the astrology of the sun, and sharing it with our listeners, our viewers.
Yeah, let's talk about the sun. So the one thing about the sun is that the ancient people were not sun worshippers as such, but they saw the sun as a representation of the light that came out from not only the source, but all that we have. And how far have you gotten into the book?
Got into the astrology part. We're actually talking about the 12 houses.
Well, the one thing is that it's the root of many major religions, and we see, of course, there's an ancient, hidden, and embedded trail that we find in all religions that come back to that. But you know, in Luke 22:10 of the Bible, if you look that up, Jesus says, "I will be with you until I meet you at the house with the man with the water pitcher." And who's the man with the water pitcher, Derek?
Who is the man with the water pitcher?
The man with the water pitcher is Aquarius.
Yeah.
And that's right. And that's me.
We are here.
So,
we're in
the man with the water pitcher. Yeah. That's why I'm on your show tonight.
That's right, because this is the age of Aquarius right now, my friend. This is January.
That's exactly right. Yeah. My birthday's coming in a few days.
Yes, it is.
So,
happy birthday, Johnny.
How's your show?
Yeah, this is the man with the water pitcher.
So that's exactly the story I'm trying to tell. But I'm going to tell you something. So we have a story, and I want to take it back for you a little bit.
Yep.
So we go back into Leo. And if we want to talk astrology, we go back into Leo. We get a very particular story that we start to bring back into the Bible. And the Bible is a very important book that everybody needs to listen to. And read and needs to like examine and study. Basically, what we get is that we get this story that 90 degrees later, after it's Leo the Lion King, we go back into this area of Bethlehem. And when we go into this area and we go to Bethlehem, we get the house of bread. And we go into Libra, the scales of justice, and we go through this story that we find that there's this backbite of the scorpion, which is the kiss of Judas, and that's Scorpio. We move beyond that, and we move into this 22nd, 23rd, 24th of December when we go to Capricorn. When we move beyond that, we get this idea that there's this moving of this particular area into the northern hemisphere, which shows us that there is this rebirth that happens around the 25th. And what do we call that? It's called Christmas, right?
Yep. Christmas
so,
or the Christ
there's a whole story that comes there. But the story about Jesus is that Jesus really did exist. I want to say this, that I don't care what people try to say. They try to dismiss the life of Jesus. Jesus really did exist. And the true life of Jesus, when we look at the apocryphal gospels, like we look at the book of Enoch and all these other books that happen, the truth of the story is that anyone important that this story was attached to at certain times, but Jesus' birthday really was not on December 25th, as you know.
Yeah.
But I want to say to people that out there that might not be believers that it actually did happen. And you know that, and you've talked about that before, right?
Yep. Yeah. The thing I gotta tell people, I mean, Jesus does come and see you. It happened to me twice. I mean,
I know you saw. Can you tell everyone about the time you met Jesus?
Well, when I was 16 on the farm, I was living on the farm as a dairy farm kid, and I was at the time during the day. This is the daylight, like in the afternoon, early afternoon. I was in the garden. My dad asked me if I can hold the potatoes, you know. So I was out in the garden, and we have a very large garden, so I'm holding the potatoes. And I looked up to the sky, and we were just completely clear. I mean, the sky was blue, no clouds anywhere, just blue. And then as I looked, brought my head back down, and I brought back up. Next thing I saw, this beam of light came straight down into the garden. And I looked up and I see the beam of light. And as I'm dropping my eyes down from way up above down, and then right in front of me, just behind the beam of light, appeared a man in the shape of a person. And when the beam of light disappeared, and as this man grew closer to me, there he was, Jesus. Like he was wearing full, complete, clothing, the biblical time period. And he looked at me, and my body just trembled. I wasn't scared. My body trembled with nothing but unconditional love. I feel nothing but that energy of love. Like I was overwhelming, and I can hear angels sing. Like I can hear the heavens. I can hear just you felt so there. I fell to my knees and I wept. And I didn't ask for, that I'm a sinner. I didn't say that. I wept, and like I knew it was him. But I all my life as a kid, I never went to church ever. But there he was, and he said, "Hello, Derek," and he said, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm good." He said, "I'm here to let you know that if you want to stay here, you can. But," he said, "you don't have to stay here anymore. We can come home now." So basically saying, I'm done my journey if I want to leave now. And all I thought was my mother and my brother that had passed away when he was a baby. And I thought, no, I can't abandon my mom. Right? I chose to stay. So I said, I don't want to leave. I want to stay. I want to see the future. I want to see the space age. And his words were, go in peace. And he said, he says, bless thee thy child, for you shall do great things. But as he's saying that, my head was down, but he put his hand on my head, and I felt nothing but unconditional love. And when I opened my eyes, he was gone.
Do you know what that is powerful? The one thing I've always noted about you is that you are always respectful to people from their religious backgrounds, Derek. I know that about you, and that is a very, very powerful experience. The people I've talked to in the past that I've interviewed that had near-death experiences and whatnot that I've interviewed, they've talked about their encounters with Jesus. They've always said that it was a very powerful experience. It was transformative, and I do believe Jesus exists. I don't believe that we should dismiss anyone's experiences, especially when it comes to a religious encounter or whatever it is. But when I read your book and when I've heard what you've talked about, it's always been very authentic. So you said you met Jesus twice.
Yeah, when I was 8 years old, when I was just a little guy. I saw him in the back of my yard, and I was living in town, and he was in the backyard. He just appeared when I was playing. And he says, hello. And I said, hello. And he was watching me and talking to me, and I was playing. And I hugged him. And he just said, he says, how are you? And I said, good. And then he mentioned about that he was coming to get someone, and it was my grandma. It was her time, and he was preparing me.
Do you know what I love about this, Derek, though? Because you come from a First Nations background. You have always been an elder in the community. You've always been a leader of what you do. You've been a spiritual teacher. And I love the fact that you have reached across whatever religious or spiritual backgrounds, and you always had a relationship with Jesus. And I love that.
Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. And I think that that's a powerful transformative experience, because so many people have told me that they've been in like a difficult situation and they've called out to that name, or they've asked for help and they've gotten some sort of spiritual retribution. So would you say that if somebody calls out to that name, that there is like an energy, or that they get that help, or what has been your experience so far with that?
Mine would be like, if I talk about them more, if I talk to them more, and then I get very warm, like my whole internal body starts to get so hot. I get really, really hot, because I know that's the presence of them in the room. Like right now, as we're talking about them, the presence of the room gets warmer and warmer, because they're letting you know they're in the presence, because you're talking about them. And this is the thing, folks. Most people don't know that. They figure that, well, if you just mention his name, that's, the thing is that when you need help, ask. The angels love your help. Like, if you don't just expect them there. If you need help, they will be there to help you. And some people, sure, yes, they may have not, they maybe lost touch and felt upset or angry with God because they lost a loved one. But it's not the fault of God. It's the contract of the person that had left this world. They knew it was their time. And yet, there's always going to be a parent or someone in the family, or, that will be angry that their loved one left too soon. But thing I tell people this, they're going home. This place is an exercise ground. This is just we're in a school. We're learning here, but the real birth of life, and where we're really from, is on the other side. Because we keep on coming back and learn more lessons all the time. We have so many decisions to whether we want to be here to come back and reincarnate continuously, or we have other things to do. Because sometimes we can go to other planets and become somebody else. It's our choice. They're offering us an opportunity, whatever we want to do. It's not because they want us to be here. They ask you if you want to be here. This is the problem most people make. Spirit does not say to you, oh, you got to be here because I said so. No, you're here because you want to be here, because you have things you want to do. Maybe you want to learn more lessons, things you want to take on. You want to work with this particular family, be with them. So when Johnny came into this family and in his life, he chose this family to where he is now today, because where God guided Johnny to this work. You see? So
I love what you're saying, Derek, and I just want to let you know that I love you and appreciate you always and what you do, and the good message you put out there. And I don't know what we would do if it wasn't for messengers like you right now that are giving out this love and this light and this good energy to people, because we got to get through it. I've been going through my trials and tribulations lately with all the travels I've done around the world and things I've seen. But I just want to say that I really appreciate everything that you're putting out in the world, and you got to keep it up. And you always tell people to look at what you're doing for the light that you're spreading in the world. But we all have to look within, and we all have to look at the fact that we're all precious, powerful, multidimensional beings that love beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
And just as our dear friend Daniel Brinkley says, everybody listening to your podcast right now, to this radio show right now, is a great and mighty, powerful spiritual being with dignity, direction, and purpose. And they're all loved. And I want them all to know that, and I want them to hear your message. So just know that, my friend. And I'm glad I got to check in with you with your show. I didn't know you were doing a show, but thank you.
Well, I did advertise and say it was going to be on, but that's okay.
Thank you for putting me on the show, and God bless you all. I love you all. Stay strong, keep your head up, and stay in that love and that truth and that light, and good things are coming.
Yeah, I'll give you a screen back after the show's over.
Yeah, call me back after. I had a couple questions.
Okay, no problem.
It's probably about everything you're discussing on the show. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care, my friend.
Okay, bye-bye then.
Bye. That's funny. That's so funny. And I was just talking about think about Johnny, and like this is because Johnny himself worked with Danny for many years. Like I would say this, and this is my belief in my heart, that Johnny is one of the, I would say, call an adopted nephew to Jordan, because Jordan actually, both those two were at the hip. Like Johnny loved the man so much that he was like a big uncle, and he, as much as Johnny could spend time with Jordan, they did, and yeah, and I can tell you stuff that will blow you away. And I've had Jordan Maxwell on my show many times before when he was alive, and I've got some recordings of it too. If you ever want to find Jordan Maxwell's interview with me, you can always go on YouTube and have a look yourself. I'm also on. It's also on Rumble as well, so you get to see some of the interview that Johnny and I have had with. And actually, I've actually have Jordan or Johnny on my show too, as many times before. And Johnny Enoch has been around for a long, long time to share his wisdom. And if he's and when he does come to town, he flies by my place, and we start to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff and places he's been. And this man's been to Egypt many, many times, and he's done a major information station. He does a lot of paranormal, a lot of UFO conferences, and he's one of the major speakers all across the world. So he's known all over the world. UK television. Now he's got us working on two or three series, TV shows. So and we're looking forward to actually. He's working on, or has done. I think it's completed now. But they're doing the biography of Jordan Maxwell. So they're going to be doing a whole complete history on this man. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come up. And they already got that already done. So there's going to be a lot of new things coming out for 2024. A lot of really cool stuff, right? Yeah. So anyways, we'll just finish this off before we call it a night. So like I said before, everlasting life came from God's sun, and the sun was round, and it was a circle in the sky. Now, so ancients saw life as a round circle, the circle of life. Now, later on, this particular months, they called the houses, and we're talking about back to the houses, because in the Babylon scheme of things, they began to develop what was called astrology. And so each one of the months became a house. Okay, therefore the sons, God's sons, the light of the world, who is our salvation, because he has risen and had 12 helpers, or 12 apostles. As the sun also enters into each of one of the houses of the zodiac, or each one of these constellations of the zodiac. Now, at the 13th degree, and it leaves. Let's see, and it. Take it back. Yeah, it goes to 13th degree. Perfect. Sun also enters into each one of the houses of the zodiac, or each one of those constellations of the zodiac at the 13th degree, and it leaves at the 33rd degree. Therefore, they said that the sun, or sun, SON, begins his ministry at 30 and dies at 33. Now, this is very, very old knowledge, and as a matter of fact, there are many books that trace at least 15 other major religions that have used God's sun as the light of the world. In the same context, in the same religious philosophy that was developed for the worship of God's sun, SUN, yes, there were at least 15 other major religions, ancient religions, that used the story. And one of the reference books that documents this right off the top of my head, according to Jordan, is The World's 16 Crucified Saviors by Kersey Graves, Kerscy. The World's 16 Crucified Saviors. If you want to get that book, by Kersey Graves. This is a great book for that kind of study, and is available through the book tree. So, anyways, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a heads up about this, and actually, I'm glad that we talk about Jordan Maxwell. We're always going to talk about Danny Brinkley as well, because Danny Brinkley and Jordan were really close friends with each other, as well as Johnny being close friends with Danian. So like we got all of these people that I know in the circle of, so we're all connected somehow to each other. Anyway. So, anyways, guys, I really do appreciate your time on the program. My apologies that YouTube actually cut you guys off as far as the sound is concerned. But next week we'll make it better, and we'll talk about, as next week will be. Let's see here. That's the 18th. Yeah, the 18th of January, and that's going to be very interesting. So I'll update you guys. I'll let you know what's going on. We might do a psychic night. We'll see what happens. We'll just see what happens, anyways. But I really do appreciate your time, guys, and I want to share all this information, wisdom with you. But if you're ever interested, see if you can find that book, Matrix of Power. It's very, very important that you do know this book, because The Secrets of World Control by by Jordan Maxwell. That's the man right there. He wrote this book, one of the books, but this one here is very powerful. Gives you the real story. He's actually, like Johnny said, he's been a researcher for over 60 plus years. And one thing about Jordan's research and what he has found, and he was not a conspiracy theorist, he proved it. In fact, the Men in Black even tried to stop Jordan from sharing this information. Many times he's been visited by the Men in Black and said, shut her down. And he said, no, he's not going to shut it down, because he said, if you want to tell somebody to shut it down, you talk to those guys up there, because they're the ones that told me to do this. And they knew they couldn't challenge him, and they knew they couldn't stop him. So Jordan kept on doing what he could do for the longest time, and he kept it up, and he wouldn't quit. So I'm very happy that Jordan did his best. And you'll see some of Jordan's videos on YouTube, and you'll find some of his videos also on Telegram, or if anybody's ever interviewed any of his work. Like I said, myself, Johnny has. You can look for Johnny Enoch as well as Jordan Maxwell together on YouTube. There's many other videos too. If you want to see some with things that Jordan has shared, is very, very important to learn the knowledge of this, because it relates to everything we're dealing with today. Jordan actually was put here for a reason, to I guess to say, to give you guys heads up to what was going to happen in this world, and to prepare you long before David Icke. David Icke actually was a follower of Jordan's, and then through the years, then David Icke decided to do the same kind of stuff. So he's from the UK. Jordan was from the US, from California. Jordan started doing this when he was 19, but he was followed by extraterrestrials, and they told him all about himself since he was a baby. They've been watching him since he was a baby, and then they got him to get started into this work. If you want to know anything about Jordan, again, it's worth your while to look up his history and learn about learned about it from him, about his life. It's phenomenal. Jordan was an amazing man. I was very fortunate. I got to know him, and Jordan was a very tall man, by the way. I'm 5'9", and he's way over 6 feet tall. So I was like looking up to, I'm looking up like an uncle. But a cool guy. Very soft-spoken man, but he's straightforward about things. He tells you the way it is. He's very blunt, straight, and honest. Right? He's been to Nevada, where he lived. Well, he'd been to Nevada many times. Even there's a restaurant in Nevada where there you'll see. I can't remember the name of the place again. There's actually a photograph of Jordan in this restaurant. And that's one of the biggest photographs in there. They have all these famous people that are involved in anything to do with the UFO stuff. And Jordan's picture is the largest in that restaurant, and it's still there, right? So anyways, I appreciate you guys. And if you want to find me on Facebook or find me on Facebook, find me on Telegram. I'm on a page called True North, Strong and Free. And you'll see all anybody, and there's people in there that have joined the pages and like to share information, which is fantastic. Also, if you like to also to follow my Rumble page Again, that's this Rumble page, the Shadow Chasing Show, or find me on White Sky Cloud, and you'll see all of my shows. If you haven't been able to see all of them, it's worth your. Let's see what else is there. Like I said before, my apologies, guys, that YouTube wasn't working. But again, that's happened a lot before with them. They've done that to me before, so it's not the first time, and won't be the last. So, and then, but if by some chance that if I'm not able to get onto any of these two places, social networks, it's because they shut me out. And if they did, I'll be on Telegram. Okay. If you're not a member of Telegram, download the app. It's worth your while. It's the most, I guess to say free, one of the best free speech pages you'll ever come across. They don't give you the rules like like YouTube or other social networks do. You can do whatever you want, say what you want. Nobody tells you what to say, do. I mean, you're being common, like you're being, like respectful, but you're not there to cause harm. And they don't like people that like to be trolls. If you're trolling anyone's page, you're done. They kick you out. So it's best to, like be respectful and join Telegram. It's worth your while. And it's a very protected page. There's a lot of new people coming. That are joining the page is by the thousands, right? Like right now, there's on Telegram. There's well over 361,000 people that are on Telegram. 361 messages plus every day. 361,000. That's every day. And that's the one that keeps coming up on my screen. That's how many people are chatting back and forth. It's a lot of people, right? Anyways, guys, be good to each other, and may God bless you all. And thank Johnny Enoch for calling in. Caught him off guard, but he caught me off guard. So, but it's appreciative that he's. I'm surprised he didn't know that I was going to be on. But every Thursday night I am. But then again, when you're focusing on other things, you tend to forget where you are, what time it is too. So, and yeah, okay, guys, be good, and we'll talk to you guys next week. In the meantime, in the between time, another edition of Shadow Chasing. Take care, guys.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world we're all alike. So why is there war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one hurts, with one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace all around. Isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace.